President-elect Donald Trump greeting tens of thousands of supporters in Mobile, Alabama on Saturday this weekend. Wrapping up his national thank you tour in the city he says ignited his campaign 1 year ago, hitting on familiar campaign themes and promising better days ahead in his new administration.
I actually think the next 4 years is going to be a lot easier, if you want to know the truth. We're going to do a great job. You, the American people, will now again be in charge. Your voice, your desires, your hopes, your aspirations will never again fall on deaf ears. Never again. The forgotten men and women of this country, and they were forgotten. By the way, you're not forgotten any longer.
Joining us right now is Jason Miller, Trump Transition Team Communications Director. Jason, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Maria, good morning.
So the thank you tour rolls on. What is he trying to do with this thank you tour, and what should we expect this upcoming week from the Trump campaign?
Well, I think with the thank you tour, what we're seeing is, first of all, the president-elect going around the country and saying thank you very much to the hardworking men and women who helped deliver the win last month. But more importantly, I think we're looking ahead to the future, which is appropriate with the show that we're on right now, and talking about what we're going to do once the president-elect is sworn in next month, when we talk about repealing and replacing Obamacare, getting into some tax reform. We have some big things that are coming for America, and this is just a little bit of a preview.
Yeah, and in terms of foreign policy, Jason, talk to us about his views toward China. What is he expecting to do there? Of course, we know that the rhetoric has been upped quite a bit. We should tell China that we don't want to waste the drone they stole back from them. Let them keep it, is what Donald Trump tweeted out about China taking the drone in the water. What is he trying to do there, saying just keep it?
Well, I think with specific regard to the drone, I mean, let's be clear about what we would actually get back. If we did get something back, we would get a chunk of metal and maybe a bag of wires. I mean, it'd be a remnant of whatever it once was. But I think in the broader picture, when we talk about China, we need to start being a little bit tougher and start standing up for America first. And this is even bigger and broader than China. We're talking about America's place in the world overall. And so we see with the appointment of Rex Tillerson for Secretary of State, we see it with Wilbur Ross, who's going to be our Commerce Secretary, someone who's going to get in there and negotiate good trade deals that actually help American workers. The president-elect is putting together a team that's actually going to start standing up and fighting for us.
Yeah, and a lot of energy officials on the new cabinet, from Rex Tillerson, former CEO of ExxonMobil, Rick Perry, running the energy department. We know that President-elect Trump has made a promise to tap into the energy resources of this country. Is that the theory?
Well, absolutely, energy is going to be a big part of getting the economy going. And we saw specifically with Governor Perry how during his watch in the state of Texas, they helped create 2.2 million new jobs, many of those from the energy sector. And President-elect Trump really has an all-of-the-above approach to energy. We need to get our shale moving. We need to get oil exploration. We need to be looking at all the different opportunities we can to get this going. And there have been far too many burdensome regulations that President Obama and his administration have put on. And so we're going to start repealing some of those bad regulations. We can get our economy moving, and really that's, I think, going to have one of the biggest bumps that we're going to see.
Now, Jason, tomorrow we all know that the Electoral College will officially put their votes forth. You've got some electors out there being threatened. The left is up in arms, basically saying, change your vote. Don't vote for Donald Trump tomorrow on the official date. What is your team expecting?
Well, news flash for many of the partisan Democrats and those in the mainstream media who continue to try to delegitimize President-elect Trump's massive and historic win last month. The election's over. Hillary Clinton lost. Now, President-elect Trump and Vice President-elect Pence are focused on going to work for the American people. And whether it was this nonsense about the recount or nonsense about the popular vote, you have to win 270 electoral votes to be elected president, and President-elect Trump actually got 306. This is all really just an effort to try to delegitimize the win. But that's not going to slow down the president-elect. He's focused for the American people. He's ready to go. And we think that tomorrow will be a resounding victory in line with what the voters decided last month.
I mean, what happens if some of the electors do change their vote?
Well, and let's be clear about that, is that, you know, possibly, maybe there's one person who goes a different direction, but our team is very confident. Our legal team and our electoral college team is confident that folks will be voting in line with the way that the voters intended. And I think that's ultimately a sacred trust that the electors have, is they need to follow the will of the people and make good on this. And again, 306 electoral votes for President-elect Trump, winning states like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. I mean, very impressive win last month, and I think it gives him a mandate to go and take on these massive reforms when he's sworn in next month.
Yeah, I was looking at a soundbite which President Obama was in just in the middle of the campaign. He said, Donald Trump should stop whining. The Electoral College is what it is, and they're going to vote the way they want. I mean, this was obviously before the election. He was pretty sure that Hillary Clinton would win. And here you have the left really doing the whining right now. Let me ask you about that. I mean, I guess Hillary Clinton and President Obama could do some more to shut down these questions, but they're not.
Well, they could, and also I think this is really disrespectful to the American public, who, after 8 years of gridlock and seeing a country that's becoming more divided, why would they be trying to divide the country further right now? I think what people want to see, and this is why we're even seeing the economy take on the, as Stu Varney says, the Trump rally, or other people might say the Trump bump. Consumer confidence is up, that American swagger is back, that optimism that we can go and move forward as a country. We can see real economic growth, not just the growth that we might see in New York or that we might see in places like Washington, D.C., but all across middle America. We talk about the Rust Belt and the upper Midwest, these states where President-elect Trump really tapped into something here about fighting for American jobs, and that spirit is back. And we're energetic and optimistic as we look ahead.
Jason, what has been the conversation surrounding Russia? I mean, we all know that ExxonMobil has done a pretty significant deal in the Black Sea with Vladimir Putin before the sanctions were put in place. Is it of your mind that pretty soon into President Trump's administration that the sanctions against Russia will be rolled back?
Well, I'm going to leave that to Secretary of State Tillerson after his confirmation, and also the President-elect to start laying out the very specifics on the foreign policy front. But I think there's one thing at a broader point that a lot of folks are missing, is that we need help, quite frankly, in a number of places around the world in defeating common foes. So as we talk about ISIS, we talk about radical Islamic terrorism. If there are other countries who want to act in good faith to defeat common enemies, then we shouldn't be labeling these other countries as enemies right off the top. We should see where we can work together. But again, going back to the point I made a moment ago, this will be an administration that has an America First foreign policy, and that's something that the President-elect has talked about continually on the campaign trail. I think that's what you'll see from his administration. So
foreign policy is obviously a major priority. Give us what you see as the most important priorities that President-elect Trump is looking at after Inauguration Day in terms of his agenda.
All right, well, now we're getting into the good stuff, because this is where President-elect Trump is really going to start making good on some of these campaign promises. Heck, we've already seen it so far when we talk about the carrier deal and all these different places where the President-elect has been standing up and fighting for American workers. But right out of the gate, you'll see the wheels start moving to repeal and replace Obamacare. You'll immediately start seeing, or pretty soon afterwards, I think we'll start getting into some tax reform. I know that's something that's very important to the President-elect. And I would say also you'll see a number of executive orders on day one to repeal and rescind some of these unconstitutional, illegal executive orders put in place by the current president. And so I think anyone who voted for Donald Trump, anyone who voted for real change in this country, is going to be excited after he's sworn in next month.
All right, well, we'll be watching all the developments. It sure is a new day. Jason, good to see you. Thank you so much.